guys, welcome to Adams Motorsports Park. Today we got the 2015 Subaru WRX, and we also brought out our 2014 Cobb Stage 2 Ford Fiesta ST. We are going to find out which of these cars is actually faster around Adams Motorsports Autocross. But first, let's take that thing out on the road and see how well it drives in the real world. The first time I ever drove a WRX, it was almost fast beyond belief. That 2001 version, it was crazy. I couldn't believe it. Now, they've got the 2015 WRX, and they say this is the best driving one they've ever made. So the question is, are they right? Well, first off, it's certainly the biggest WRX they've ever made. It feels about the size of my Legacy from back in the late 90s. Much bigger than the last WRX I drove, but that's both good and bad. It's not like it's too big, 3,200 pounds, so it's not that heavy. The back seat is finally usable for normal-sized people, and it's got a big trunk, so that's good. Practical for every day, and actually, this seating position for someone my size is really, really good. I can move the seat far back, and then I can telescope the steering wheel right out behind me. You've got the 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, turbocharged version of what you get in the BRZ. It's good for 265 horsepower, 258 pounds of torque, which is nice. That's a good amount of power for a car like this. And let's see how that power band feels. They say it's wider than before, so let's start from second gear, 2,000 RPM, okay? I'll get on it. Here's flat. Waiting. Boost comes on about 35. And it's a nice flat torque curve to about 55, where it kind of dies. That's to be expected. These rally bred cars are really for good mid-range torque. That's where that power is most usable. And no exception here. The problem is there's not much sense of occasion about it all. It's not like it's building. It's sort of like you're off boost and then you're on boost, and when you're on boost it's flat. And like, that's good. It's predictable, but it's not exciting. I think some of the excitement is what's missing from this WRX. For instance, the Fiesta ST, not the fastest car in the world, but all the sensations I get while driving it make it exciting. This car might do well on numbers. It does 0 to 60 probably in the mid-5s, but there's no real sensation of speed about it. And the inputs, frankly, aren't great. The steering wheel is a nice shape, I'll give them that. The seat is a nice shape, but the pedals don't offer much feedback. The steering itself is a little bit numb, and the cable-operated shifter is awful. There's no way around that. It feels like someone dumped a bunch of sand into the shifter linkage. It's quick. The actual limits of it are high. We had it all in the canyons, and it gets around corners really well, nice and flat. It's a good chassis, for sure. The chassis is 40% more rigid than the last WRX, and you can feel it in the corners. The corners nice and flat. And, you know, starting at 26,000 bucks, it's a pretty good value, honestly. You do get a lot for your money, performance-wise. It's a practical car. It holds people and stuff. You can drive it in all weather. It's fun. It's spacious. There's a lot of places to store your stuff. There's USB and heated seats and cigarette lighters for your V1. Alright, now that we're done with the consumer advice portion of our program, we're going to go find out if the WRX is fast. So we're going to take it to an autocross and put it up against our Fiesta ST to see if it can't beat a car that costs $4,000 less. Adams Motorsports Park is an old pal at this point, an outdoor track in Riverside, California. They normally run karts and supermotos here, but it actually makes for a great autocross circuit. The 3/4-mile track has 14 corners, and like most autocrosses, is mostly second gear and a little bit of third. But with racetrack curbing, real banking, and proper racing lines as opposed to just corners in a parking lot, it's a hell of a way to spend 25 bucks on a Tuesday night. Alright, here we go. Coming around the first corner for my first time lap. And I ran out of second gear right as I crossed start finish. Might need to shift to third there for better time. Around the banked hairpin. There we go. Got the traction control in its sportiest setting. Second gear not quite long enough. Third gear just a little too long. Question is to bang it off the rev limiter or to go for a third gear shift. Traction control is vectoring the brakes nicely. I've got it in the middle setting, not fully off. Car likes banging curbs. There goes my water all over the floor. Yes. Up into third. Back to second for the chicane. This car's got a really nice flat power band, easy to control when you're going at it. Not much understeer. Ooh, I went back up the power. It rotated around really nice there. Nope. I didn't even have time to get into third. Ooh. Okay. Well, actually, in a fast autocross, WRX very composed. When you drive it like a kind of a loon and really ham-fist it, it responds really well. The back end comes around nicely. I actually, I like it more as a sports car now after driving it at its limits, which are, frankly, pretty high. Now all we got to do is get in the Fiesta. Let's see which is quicker.
After 5 races in each car, here's how it all went down. For fastest individual lap, the WRX came in ahead by 0.8 of a second, running a 47.87 compared to the Fiesta's 48.63. These numbers are good enough to make these the 2 fastest cars we've ever actually run at this track, beating the Mark 6 Volkswagen GTI with dual clutch by 2.73 and 2 seconds respectively. For fastest average lap, the Fiesta's consistency brings the battle even closer. The WRX still wins, but only by 0.4 of a second now, averaging 48.80 seconds per lap to the Fiesta's 49.19. We're left with mixed feelings about the WRX. On one hand, it's bigger, faster, and better value for money than it's really ever been. It's still the go-to solution for cold weather, budget-minded sports car enthusiasts. On the other hand, when we gave it back, we didn't exactly miss it. Would we trade the Fiesta ST for it? Never.
This guy is like, fuck it.